Hello and welcome to Miracle English Language and Literature Institute. I'm Professor Abha Sharma, and today I'm going to do the deep analysis of NTA UGC NET JRF English exam June 2019. I'm going to go in detail of every question. So this video is not just only for the people who have appeared, but also for the students who are preparing for the forthcoming exams. You would be understanding the question and the answers in detail. I'm not just going to tell you that this is A or B is the correct answer, but also why this will be the correct answer. So let's take up the questions. Question number 1. In which of the following paired terms the relationship between the active and passive forms of a sentence can be best established? So there are various choices and they're asking the terms which can have the best of relationship between them as the relationship of the active and the passive form. The correct answer here is deep structure and surface structure, because signified you have studied in semiology. Metaphor, metonymy are totally different. They are literary terms, and syntematic and paradigmatic they are also not paired as the pairing of deep structure and surface structure. These are two Greek terms, and syntematic is for linear, horizontal. That means one after the other, the straight line in a sentence. And paradigmatic is vertical. Okay, one above the other or one below the other. When we see the example like Ram is playing cricket, so Sham is playing cricket. So Ram can be replaced by Sham. So this replacement underneath is paradigmatic. So let's discuss the right answer, that is deep structure and surface structure. And this can only be studied in linguistics, which is the scientific study of the language. You have various parts in linguistics like syntax, semantics, and phonology, and various types of grammars like traditional grammar, prescriptive, descriptive grammar, structural grammar, phase structural grammar, generative grammar, transformational grammar, etc., etc. So, how do we find the structures in a sentence? There are many grammatical theories and frameworks. The study about all this, this arrangement and the meaning in the sentence will give us the different structures, that is deep structure and surface structure. Now, suppose we take this example, John broke the glass. This is an active voice. And when we make a passive voice of it, it will be the glass was broken by John. So different surface structures can be made in a sentence, but there will be a common deep structure. A linguist, Hockett, in 1958 talked about these two structures. He was the first linguist to mention surface structure and deep structure, and Noam Chomsky, who's often referred as the father of linguistics, in 1962 gave the basis of linguistic theory. He explained the differences by the help of different types of grammars and analysis. He said that phase structural grammar gives the deep structure, whereas transformational grammar gave the surface structure. The logical basis of linguistic theories are so deeply derived by him, and the IC analysis and phase structure grammar, the tree diagram help us to find out this deep structure in a sentence. So if you want to learn more about linguistics, about how did you get the right answer here, you can join us at Miracle at your earliest to have the deep knowledge of linguistics and, of course, literature as well. Let's take the second question. For which one of the following reasons in Oscar Wilde's novel, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Gray breaks down when he sees his finished portrait? Oscar Wilde is one of my favorite authors. You can watch my detailed analysis on the same novel, Picture of Dorian Gray, in my books and reading section. I've given you the complete story there with the complete details. So this is a very interesting one. It is a novella. It is not a very big novel, and it is about selling your soul to the devil. Here, Dorian Gray gets a picture painted, his own picture, and when he sees the picture is very beautiful. And he gets the idea that he will get older, but not the picture. So he exchanges his age, his growing up, with the picture. So picture is always covered because it shows the signs of his growing up, his maturity, and even his sins which he commits during his lifetime. But he remains the same for the next 20 years. And there are so many incidents here. You can watch the story. It is very interesting. Oscar Wilde was a genius in wit, sarcasm, and all those inner meanings. He had studied life so deeply that he comes out with various comic and intelligent sentences. So the answer here is distort by the fact that his beauty will fade while the portrait stays beautiful. Is the correct answer here. Question number 3. By which two of the following processes, according to Mitchell Foucault, does power operate? Now you have to find two things here. He talked about the power and knowledge. With power comes the knowledge, and with knowledge comes the power. They are very nicely integrated. They complement each other, power and knowledge. So here the two correct answers are B and C. So B says by normalization rather than law. There are so many examples. You have to make the society normal, function normally before imposing any laws. Suppose you are imposing demonetization. So all the banks, all the ATMs, all the internal technical structure should be normalized when you announce such a big thing. So similarly, the second one, it says that by control rather than punishment. That is also important. All these rape cases, the society demands for a very strict punishment. Of course, we all want that the culprits should be punished severely so that no one dares. But before that, the control over the crime is more important. Punishment comes later. But to make the society safe and secured is more important than punishment. So in his essay, he talks about these two things where the choice B and C are the correct one. Question number next. Identify the two names from the following who are associated with hermeneutics. Now, you need to read this in detail. Hermeneutics, the interpretation of this world. Before that, you have to read Phenomenology. And before that, you have to read all that. New critique, structuralism, post-structuralism, deconstruction, postmodernism. There are so many theories attached to that. And then comes phenomenology. How do you interpret this world? How do you interpret the plays or novels you read? How do you interpret your own life, own day-to-day life? There are so many thoughts, beliefs, ideas simultaneously present in your mind. So the interplay of these thoughts, ideas, beliefs, they all play the vital role in understanding this world. So hermeneutics is all about the interpretation of the literary text and the interpretation of this world. So, Edmund Husserl, he talked about phenomenology. He gave the term phenomenological reduction, and Heidegger talked about hermeneutics. He gave this social theory where he said that the reader must experience the inner life of the text in order to understand it. That means when we read a text, we have to be like one of the character in the text to understand the communication, to understand the relation between the different characters and the things spoken in it. That means the reader is in the world of the novel, being in the world. There's a technical term called Dasein. Dasein means being in the world. Dasein. Being there, being in the world. Uh, the reader and the text, they both are interconnected. Therefore, this particular relationship helps a reader to interpret the text. There is much more to it, and this cannot be done in this video. So you need to attend the classes to understand, to increase your deep understanding about the literary theories. The deep analysis of the questions and answers. It makes the video long, and people don't watch long videos much. So I'm cutting it short here. I will be back with more questions in my next video. So stay tuned, and also try your best to come for the classroom coaching, because here we do all the things in detail relating it to life, as our motto is read literature in its true spirit. It is very closely related to life, so it becomes much easier to understand. Thank you so much.